What's up, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going over the loadouts for Season 4, after all, the buffs and nerfs. Started off, we're going to go with perks, and what perks you should pick. Personally, I recommend always having a separate loadout just for Ghost. Ghost is really useful for endgame situations, not being completely off the radar with them not being able to see you on UAVs is super useful, especially also with the heartbeat sensors. Them not being able to see you is great. I also recommend having, for any close range or smaller map, like the new Fortune's Keep map or Rebirth Island, I would recommend a restock loadout. What this does is it restocks your lethal and tactical grenades or throwing knives or whatever you have. And so I recommend use, if you have restock, use snapshots. So every 25 seconds, you can throw a snapshot grenade, which is like really good. If you run it with someone else, that's like every 12 seconds. That's a snapshot grenade, which is great. It's like a UAV basically. A permanent UAV. So that's really good for clearing out buildings, especially if you're pushing places or you're being pushed by gas. It's great to know if anyone's in there. And if you're playing Caldera a lot and you're a big Caldera player, I recommend a high alert perk instead of restock. What this does is if anyone sees you or scopes in on you, it will light up your screen what side they are. So if they're in front of you, the top of your screen will light up yellow. If they're to your left, the left side of your screen is gonna light up yellow. If they're on the right side is gonna light up bottom. The bottom, or behind you, bottom will light up. And so that tells you if someone sees you. So that's really good for Caldera, because there's a lot of times when you're in the open and knowing if someone can sees you or scope in on you and is ready to kill you is really useful, because then you know to get cover quickly and like slide cancel and make it really hard to be hit. So that's really useful. For lethal, I always use tactical. I use stim. Lethal, I use throwing knife. I use throwing knife for the quick down. Or if when someone's downed, throw it. That's an instant kill. That's really good for if you're like 1v2ing, 1v3ing, 1v4ing. Being able to instantly finish them, and if you have quick fix on with a perk, that will instantly regen your health, which is really good if there's still someone else you have to kill. The instant regen of health is really good. I also recommend running amped as another perk. Quick fix and amped. Amped allows you to do fast weapon swap time, which is useful in all maps and almost all situations. So I always run amped, quick fix, overkill, or the perk 2 is the one you have to really worry about. Sometimes I'll run double time and tracker. If you're using, you don't really have to use anymore, but they're, if you have a long range AR, I sometimes recommend combat scout. But that, since all bushes on Caldera are gone now, and it's not as like bush heavy, I don't really use it anymore. Don't really recommend it. Double time can be useful if you have like a loadout with very low mobility, for example, like an HDR and AR. It's going to be a terrible mobility loadout. I might put double time on just to boost that mobility that little bit. And let's get to some of the guns. Okay, first we're going to start out with my personal bar loadout I made. This is my favorite, one of my favorite AR loadouts. It's really good. It's a fast firing loadout. It's got really good range. It's only got slight vertical recoil, so you can do close range fights, medium range, and long range with this gun. Close range, again, it's a big AR. It's got decent ADS time. Mobility's decent. For an AR, it's good. And it's got 40 round mag, which you can hit 2 people down pretty easy. It's got really good TTK. Time to kill. So I do recommend this loadout. Another one, this is the new Marco 5. This is my Iceman Isaac's Akimbo build I use. It's amazing. It doesn't really involve much skill to use. To be completely honest with you, it's got good mobility, small crosshair, and it's Akimbo, so it's dual wield, automatic SMGs. It's really fun to use because you use running gun. It's great. This is Iceman Isaac's build. I did not design this, so all credit goes to Iceman Isaac for making this build. Again, we use double time and amped. I have double time because of the bar, the extra mobility on the bar. This is I may do this on Fortune's Keep, and so since there's a lot of open fields, sometimes I really like mobility. But otherwise, I would run Quick Fix. The second one, I use the second loadout. These are all 100% interswappable, all of these guns with each other. I recommend either a long range gun, like a AR or sniper, with a close range gun. So this is my Vargo build. It's very basic. This is one everyone uses. I don't know who actually made this. I know it's not mine. I did not make this build, but someone did. I don't know who. It's a very basic build for this gun. Grew suppressor, of course. Reinforced heavy gives you actually the best recoil control out of all the barrels, and does more damage, so that's good. Except his grip for recoil control, 60-round mag, because 60 rounds is really good. You can get 2 people down in a mag and finish pretty easily. 3 axle arm for that range. You could probably, if you like the iron sights on this and you're using this as a medium range, you might be able to replace with a stock or regrip, maybe even a laser. Comes down to preference. This is a really good armadillo loadout, and been using this one for like a month and a half. I quite like it. Recoil booster, because almost all Vanguard SMGs I recommend the recoil booster. Faster fire rate just means that much faster time to kill. A lot of people, I see a lot of like the professionals using the 42 round mag, and the only difference between the 42 and the 60 is that the 42 has slightly more mobility. This one says it has a slightly less ADS speed, but the ADS speed on this gun is almost instantaneous. It's like 2 frames. Like, you will never have a problem. So I use a 60-round mag because having that much extra ammo, especially with third partying being such a big thing now on this new map, use the 60. This is a pretty basic loadout otherwise. I do recommend this as a beginner SMG. It's a great gun. Yeah, it's quite easy to use. You can get multiple kills with it from the larger mag. I do recommend leveling up the armadillo, or I call it the armadillo. It's the armagira. I call it the armadillo because it just sounds better. For my next long range AR, we've got the KMG. It's a great beginner gun. There's barely any recoil. Great for all of the ARs in the game. I recommend this one the most for Caldera if you want a long range AR. This is all recoil stuff and range, so this is meant to be a long range build. Medium range it can do, but this is a long range build. You can scope. I use the 2.5 times, but you could use like the 4 times, 3.25, 3.5, 3 to 6 times, anything you want for scope. I use the 2.5 times because I just prefer it. Because this also can work on the new there's Rebirth and the Fortune's Keep. Works on both. Doesn't matter what you use it on. It's just a longer range build. So this is the longest range IR that I have on this build list. So I do recommend this for Caldera. This is a great long range AR support. This is a great SMG. The well gun. This is the build I use for it. It's pretty basic. A lot of people like using the remove stock. I don't personally sacrifice a lot of accuracy and control. Use the Goyen S Custom. You don't sacrifice that control and accuracy as much, and you actually do gain mobility. Downside is with this SMG, you only have a 40 round mag, but for solos on Caldera and on Fortune's Keep, this does wonders. It's a really good time to kill. It's a good gun. I use this exact build in one of my earlier videos with an HDR because this is a really good sniper support. This can do short medium range fights as well as short range like indoor fights. So this is a great gun for that. I get a victory with this and an HDR. I use double time because the KMG does not have good mobility. It's a big heavy AR. That's why I put it with this. This has a good mobility. But again, you can swap this out with that, or you can put the well gun with the Vargo or Bar, and the Vargo with the Kimbo, Marcos, and the well gun. Doesn't matter. They're all interswappable. The meta that's been going around, the new meta AR that everyone's been using, is this exact build. I don't know who made it, so I don't know who to give credit to. This is the NZ41. Everyone's been going crazy over how good this is. It's decently good. I personally prefer the bar over this one, just because the faster fire rate, but this is still pretty dang good. MX silencer, the biggest thing that people have been going over is the barrel. The Ordweaver 360 or the barrel. The Ordweaver will give you more control and accuracy, as you can see, but this burst gives you everything else, and that is quite good. I don't recommend actually using the burst function. If you press B on PC, I don't know what it is on controller, but you can change your shot type. So you can change it to semi-auto or automatic. So I recommend using automatic. It's way better. But the burst barrel does give you that extra range because it is the longest barrel out of all of them. So it does give you extra accuracy and range, or not accuracy, more range. This is otherwise a pretty basic loadout. A lot of people sometimes like going with a different foregrip. Ultimately comes down to preference. I use the Carver for the vertical recoil. This does have really good recoil. I do recommend this for beginners. It's a great beginner gun from no recoil. You can just ADS. It's got a good ADS for a long range AR. Mobility again is about the average for an AR. And so you could do really good with this gun if you're a beginner or a pro. The pros use it, the beginners use it. It's just a good gun. This is like a very basic. I don't know who made this MP40 loadout, but it's been like the top 10 on the top 10 SMG list for like 4 or 5 months now. It's a good, very basic MP40 loadout. If you have the MP40, you use this build probably. It's very basic. I'm not going to show very much of it because it's sort of this sort of set the baseline for SMGs. Like with mobility, time to kill, and ammo, it sort of set the baseline. So that's a pretty good average SMG build. We also have my HDR loadout. This is zero flinch. We use the monolithic suppressor, HDR Pro, tac laser, FTAC champion, and focus perk. This has zero sway. Which that means is when you ADS, normally your crosshair will like sway left and right, up, down, and bob a bit. This has zero bobbing, and so you have amazing accuracy. You don't have to hold down any button to like hold your breath or use steady aim. You don't have to do any of that. As you can see, it's got really good range and control. This is one of the longest range snipers you can get. And if you want even longer range, you can do a variable zoom scope and get like a 12 times magnification. So you get that extra long sight. Otherwise, I like the stock sight. I think it's quite good for everything. So I just use the stocks. I use the tac laser for the extra ADS time because it is a big clunky old sniper made for range. So I use tac lasers, boost everything slightly, but you could switch that out for an optic. I put this with my personal Marco build of testing. This is what I found to be the best build for me. This is great for beginners. It's got good mobility for an SMG, above average. 64 round mag, which is amazing for SMGs. As you can see, a lot of the other ones only have 45, 40 round mag, so 64 is amazing. This has amazing recoil. I do recommend this for beginners. This can do medium range fights. The nice thing about this new Marco gun, and what makes it so overpowered, is not only how fast the time to kill is, the mobility in the gun's incredible. It was to the point where yesterday, I think they nerfed it today, but the Marco had this one loadout that was the fastest moving gun in like Call of Duty history. It was so broken. You run so you could like double the speed of all the other SMGs. It was incredible, but I think they nerfed it today, so it's not really worth trying to search for anymore. But this is the gun I use. It's pretty good. I do recommend this for beginners. It's like the Armadillo. I think it's slightly better than the Armadillo. Slightly like 4 more rounds, which doesn't do much. But I think this does have better mobility than the Armadillo. This shoots slightly slower than the Armadillo, but this does slightly more damage, so it makes up for it. So it has about the same time to kill, but that slower fire rate does mean you conserve more ammo. You can kill 3 people with this gun, no problem, with the round mag in it. 64 round mag. This also has a great reload speed. It's like 2 seconds. It's great. For an SMG, 64 round mag, it's got a really fast reload time. Now, personally, for the close range sniper, because everyone has their Kar 98, their Swiss, their Tundra, or not the Tundra. They have their like close range snipers, as you can see if I go down here. Kar 98, your Tundra, your Swiss, all your snipers that everyone likes. I personally prefer the Pellington over all of them. I've been using this Pellington build for like 5 months now. It's great. This is my design. I have seen this online somewhere else, so this is clearly online somewhere. But this is the one I use. It's got good ADS time, equal equivalent to almost all the other ones. It's got the same sway as the other snipers, so it's got like no sway. You don't have to use steady aim. It's got the nice thing about the Pellington is after they nerf snipers or all like the close range meta snipers, if you want to call them that, they have a max one-shot headshot range. Out of all of those snipers, this one has the longest. I think it's like 75 meters. So that it has that going for itself. And so personally, I think it's better than the Car 98. If you have the Pellington maxed out, try this. You won't regret it for this new map. Snipers are coming back, but I do believe ARs could be. If you're a beginner, I don't recommend snipers. I recommend using an AR. It's more forgiving. You have multiple shots. You can miss a few. If you miss with a sniper, you're done. You only have like a maximum of 2-3 shots at them, and if you miss all of them, then you're done. But this is my MP7 build I use. It's an older build. I remember using this back in Black Ops. But that's fine. I use the monolithic suppressor. Some people like using the lightweight suppressor. I don't know why. I use this one for damage. A lot of people switch it up with like lasers, stocks, scopes, and rear grips. I go no stock. It gives us, like, look how much mobility that gives us. An ADS speed, it's amazing. I recommend using this build. 50 and 60 round mag are interswappable. The 60 round mag has slightly less mobility. But the 50 round mag, it's only a 10 round difference. It can be the difference between life and death, but that's on rare occasions. You could probably reload this thing and kill another person. No problem. So that's the MP7 loadout. Here we have for any ghost loadout. So if you use any of these perks and that aren't overkill, then you'll have to use a secondary weapon. I've been testing out this 1911 build because I haven't maxed out just by using it as ground loot or loot when you land in. And so far, this is the loadout I've settled on. The thing is about this 1911 is only has a maximum of a 24 round mag. So that's terrible. But the auto, so it's got okay recoil. The visual recoil is terrible. Like, the gun looks like it's going everywhere, but it's actually staying direct, like dead straight. So it's great. Like, it's very slight vertical recoil, very controllable. It's got 24 range, but you can kill someone in 8 rounds. So if you are close to them and you can just, if you hit your shots, it's like an insane time to kill. So I recommend this as a regame. Pistol. What that means is, let's say there's like 10 people left, it's end game, and you die and lose your stuff, but there's still resurgence enabled, or you like win your gulag and you're dropping in and you need something to give you that end game perk. So you want like the second perk to be good, but you need a gun that will hold you over. I recommend using the 1911 or the Renetti or Dimeti. I do have a Dimeti build I could show you. But this is good for regames. So what you do is you kill someone once and then you take their gun. So this is a replaceable. This is meant to kill one guy, and then you take the guy's gun that you killed. For other good handguns, I do recommend the Dimeti. I use this loadout for my Dimeti. It's a burst pistol. This is the thing I use. This does have 30 round mag, and the reload speed is almost instantaneous. So think of this as like infinite ammo. It's like nothing. You'll never run out of ammo. I think they did nerf it in the recent update, so it's not as good. Might be a 3 burst now instead of a 2 burst. But still great for regame. Just killing that one person to take their SMG. And so I do recommend that for regame. And I also do recommend over big debate has been over launchers, because all the launchers got buffed, and which one's the best. Of course, some people like go and swear by the RPG-7s. I think the RPG-7 is okay. There's no auto lock. There's nothing special about it. You aim down sight, you shoot, and it shoots a rocket. That's it. Nothing special. It's not grenade launchers like some, like the Jokers and your like what's another one? PLA. These auto lock on things, and then it like tracks them with the missiles. Over everything, I actually prefer the Panzerfaust. I've realized recently, in like after all the updates, it's not because it does the most damage. It's because it hip fires. It's the only launcher other than grenade launchers, which suck, to use hip fire. So what that means is if you try to hip fire on like an RPG-7, it forces you to ADS, and then it shoots. which wastes like 2 seconds. You probably will miss your shot considering you just wasted 2 seconds and they're still moving. Panzerfaust, on the other hand, has a really small crosshair, so it's not like a massive crosshair. It's like a small little dot in the center of your screen, and you tap it, and in like half a second, the rocket's firing. So I found that this is actually one of the better ones for close range. If you're using a thing on Caldera, using one with an auto lock, your Joker, I've personally find is the funnest one because it goes up and then comes down on top of them, so they think they're safe, so they're good, and then they just blow up from above. It's amazing. But yeah, that's the loadouts I recommend. For Renetti, I recommend using a Kimbo Rennie. This is an old Modern Warfare loadout. It still holds up today. Burst mod, this is a Burst, a Kimbo pistol. You could use that. I recommend the other two pistols. This is only if you have the Renetti maxed out. But out of everything, there's a lot of good beginner guns. You could also use this automaton. I don't recommend the automaton. It's in my testing lab. I'm still testing it out. It's okay. Personally, I wouldn't use it. If you have it leveled up, maybe. But all of these other guns are a lot better. Like the BAR, NZ41, KMG, Vargo. These ones are way better than the automaton, I find. But yeah, that's the video. Thank you for watching to the end. And have a good day.